Hello and welcome back to the Full 40 with Trevor and Willy. The Full 40 presented by Homefield Apparel. Trevor, how you doing today?
I am okay.
Okay.
Obviously, not the game we were hoping for yesterday. We say that a lot.
Feels like a common theme.
But yeah, I mean, we played a full 38 minutes of Villanova basketball.
In the scheme of things, we played pretty well.
And we were just saying this. You can't take away that it was objectively a good game for the most part.
Yeah.
Maryland, of course, was missing shots early, and we were making shots early, and then it kind of flipped, and we're used to the inverse of that a little bit. Except instead of us dragging ourselves back to lose by one, we kind of stayed in front and then lost by one. I don't know. It's different, but yeah. I mean, look, that one kid's probably a lottery pick.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And they had a guy named Gillespie, and it was very confusing trying to watch what was already for me like a delayed broadcast and like skipping around a little bit. I didn't have a great streaming experience.
It was also skipping for me. Like it wasn't enough that it was like ruining the game, but it would just skip at.
No, it was annoying, and then like you hear Gillespie and you're like, where?
My God, it's Colin Gillespie's music.
But yeah, I mean, look, disappointing. Maryland's a good team. I'm more upset that we dropped one to Kevin Willard than like losing to Maryland is fine in a vacuum, but it's Kevin Willard's Maryland that hurts more than the actual loss for me. But yeah, look, there were some good things. Like obviously Dixon was a monster. Dixon's going to continue to be a monster. He is putting on a show, especially that first hat, like 4 for 4,
yeah,
3 to start the game, like just insane. He was getting anything he wanted, and then kind of slowed down in the second half, which is kind of what we've seen the last couple of years. Where
it's also funny you say kind of slowed down in the second half because he put up 16 in the second half.
I know, but
no, you're right. But
yeah, like you could tell that it was catching up with him. Like he only made 1 3 in the second half.
Yeah.
He can't do that. You can't expect him, or like that can't be the plan to just let Eric carry. Like he had 38, the rest of the team had 37. Wuga is missing in action.
Yeah.
Longino didn't do anything to strengthen his case from last.
He was fine.
He was there. He played basketball. Yeah. He had some nice defensive plays. Like he had like his attitude highlight of that interception and then throwing it off the other guy as he was falling out of bounds, which was cool. But like we didn't get anything from anybody offensively other than Eric. I was happy with how Perkins played. I thought Mosley did well in his extended run. I guess they weren't either. It was foul trouble or they just weren't confident in Bocce's ability to stick with the Maryland bigs. And I felt like Mosley was getting an opportunity there with various degrees of success. But
yeah, it was interesting down the stretch in the second half. We switched out Bocce for Mosley. And Mosley like immediately was defending Queen. So it was an interesting choice. And I think there was a foul immediately and Queen got to the line, but it was a decision where I wanted to shit on it. And then I was like, actually, I kind of respect this. And I think it was a good move to switch up. So, and he played well, like Mosley played well. There's not just like
I think like our ego is like Eric should be able to stick this guy, but like you can't expect him to be the entire offense on one end and then guard their best player on the other end. So like I understand. It's like how people get mad when Giannis doesn't guard the other team, like when Giannis doesn't guard Embiid or something like that, or vice versa. Whoever Embiid not guarding Jokic thing. It's kind of something like that where it's like, well, he has this much responsibility on the other end. He has to be able to take some time off eventually. Otherwise, like he's gonna get gassed like he did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, overall, like in a vacuum, I'm okay with this game. The second half defensively, I think we lost a little bit of integrity, defensive integrity. I think Maryland was also just making shots. Like Rodney Rice in the first half, I think was like 1 of 6 from 3. So it was a chance where, and he had pretty much the same looks he took earlier. That was tough. But I mean, it came down to the fact. I mean, it's simple. It was a Eric Dixon versus Derek Queen show, and that was fantastic. Like this was like
entertaining game.
Yeah, I was like, that's what like that was really cool. Seeing two bigs, a big who has been in college for 6
Forever.
years, who is highly skilled and knows exactly what he needs to do, versus a freshman big who in the first half was kind of flustered, didn't really know what was going on, and then immediately in the second half, you saw that light click, and it was like, oh, okay, this guy's really, really.
He was in his like just circus shots and ones, and nothing was bothering him. Blocks on the defensive end. Like I'm not, like you said, that that game is that game. We're more upset because of like what our record is right now, but like Wooga Poplar, he wasn't close to making his threes. Like bottom right of the backboard, long on corner threes, hitting like just nothing remotely close to a shot going in.
Yeah, it was interesting. I felt like, so he did that foul on the 3-point shooter. I guess that was his second foul. I think somewhere said first, but it was a second foul.
There was some debate, confusion in the post game because, like, somebody asked Coach Neptune a very fair question about like why Wooga only played limited minutes in the first, and he said foul trouble. Yeah. And I think they corrected the stats after the game, but everybody thought that was just one foul on him. I guess it was 2.
Yeah. So that was, the coaching staff was on top of that. 2 fouls. And what I thought was interesting was the fact that we didn't trust them enough to put him back in the game. But also we really didn't need to. We were up 12. It was kind of like, let's let it ride.
We were in control in that first half. And then just like, he didn't like, he
hit a 3, and then he had like 5 quick points. It was only 5 points. And then he forced a 3, hit like 2, like
he was taking open shots, but like not close to hitting them.
Backside of the rim, not close to hitting them, just like very bad shots. And then, that was, I mean, I guess the positive is he didn't keep shooting, but I don't even know if that was a Wooga thing. It was just kind of like, Eric's clearly in a flow state right now, playing at an unreal level. We're just going to keep deferring to Eric. Was that Jay Will on the call also?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was interesting. Jay Will down the stretch was like, Eric Dixon's going to need to get 40 for this to win. And he was right. If Eric Dixon got 40, we won.
I literally needed 40. Wooga 1 for 5 shooting from 3, ended the game with 2 fouls. So he didn't commit a foul in the second half, I guess.
He rebounded. He did other stuff. But
I don't I'm not saying that like we lost because of him or anything. No. It's just like a little concerning that 5 games after he was dubbed the best, if not the best shooter in the program ever, he's barely grazing the side of the backboard on corner 3 attack. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's like becoming a pattern with some of these transfers that come in that like, they're great shooters in their previous stops, and they come in and then they just like can't hit anything when it counts for Villanova. Yeah. And I don't know what to think about it.
With Wooga specifically, when he came in, there was talk about him wanting to be on ball more. He hasn't really done that. In fact, our secondary ball handler, which we'll talk about, Jordan, has been Jordan, which he only had 1 turnover on the stat sheet, but Maryland's press, and I was texting Tommy during the game, and I was like, Maryland's press is going to come and bite us in the butt, and immediately it started to do that. Yeah, he didn't answer me. And immediately it started, in the second half, it started to come and become a factor of, okay, we had the 10-second violation, we had turnovers, and it was a token press. It's outside of Brickus, we don't have anybody else to help us break down a press. It's interesting because Wooga should be able to handle the ball, but just hasn't. Longino cannot do it. But at the end of the day, we're going to need, I keep saying we're going to need, if we're going to be the best team we're going to be. And the fan in me is like, I want to see Villanova be the best team we can be. There's obviously all the logistics of like, should we be the best team we
There's
can
levels
be?
to this.
There's
Yeah.
levels to it, but like the fan is saying, I want to see us play as best as we
You
can.
want to watch entertaining
Yeah,
basketball at least, and like, yeah, at least that was a fun game to watch. But
yeah,
like, I can't. And it's not just like a recent, like, you know, the turnovers where you inbound to the phony press, your first option to pass it to is shut down, and then somebody ends up with the ball in the corner under their own basket, and then it's just like, what are we doing?
yeah.
We've been doing it for 15 years. Like, it's not just a Kyle thing; it's been a Jay thing. And the thing that, and I know that this is like something they do. Phil Booth was like king of this. Like, after made free throws, just like kicking the ball over, you know, giving like a ridiculous amount of time for us to set up, but it's also letting the defense set up and then, you know, throwing the ball to the ref and taking your sweet time to get like before the 5 seconds to inbound the ball starts. And I don't understand why it's just like, hey, we only have one ball handler. He's not the most physically imposing guy. Like, why can't we just inbound this quickly and let him get running?
What we did that was interesting towards the end of the game that I thought was the right move is we had Brickus inbound. So as
Yeah,
Brickus inbound went to Dixon and gave right back to Brickus.
right,
That's what we need to be
right.
doing. And yeah, that worked out. But yeah, I mean, we need Brickus and Wooga to step up. Brickus has been solid. Like I have
Yeah,
no real issues with it, but we would like to see more. I mean, it's really going to come down to Wooga. Wooga needs to be a 16-point per game scorer, 15-point per game scorer if we're going to be
if we're
a
gonna
good
win
team.
games.
Yeah, if we're
Yeah,
going to be a good team down this like the rest of the season, that's just what it is.
yeah,
Like not even a tournament team. Just like if we're going to be a good team, we need Wooga to step up. It was interesting. The first half was a lot of fun. Like I was like,
yeah.
"Where's this team been?" And there's a comment in here. Jeffrey Stackman says Maryland's a top 25 team in the country. They're in that realm. Like they're probably like up. I think they're going to be right side of the bubble. They'll probably be a 9 seed like level because that's just what's going to happen. But they're a strong team regardless. And we were up 12. We on a neutral site. We played them like once again. The team has the talent to be a very good team. Clearly, there's some ships have sailed. But some of the offense that we had was really, really beautiful. There was a play in the first half, real early, about 15 minutes in. Brickus had the ball. He drives to the lane. Eric Dixon runs on the baseline, does it's kind of a floppy action, but not really. Gets to the baseline. Bocce sends a back screen. Brickus is driving into the lane, gets to the paint. 3 people come to him. Dixon's wide open, bounce past the Dixon corner 3 ball. And I was like, where the hell has this been? That was some of the
Offense.
most pure, just offense basketball, like offensively pure basketball we've played in a bit. I think probably I've seen all year. And that was just, I mean, the issue once again comes down to like everything just has to be Dixon. Like if we can't depend on Dixon to score 50% of our points every game. If he does, one of the best seasons in college basketball history.
No, I know. It's like I tweeted even that like I think beginning of the year he was gonna have to score like 25 or 26 points per game, and like I couldn't remember how many he was suspended for. So I was like just saying like, okay, what if he plays 30 game? Like, you know, what he would have to do to be able to catch Kerry Kittles, and it was like 26 or 27. Like he's around there thanks to yesterday, but yeah, it'll definitely be harder when Big East and conference play starts. But
he's at 27 right now,
yeah,
26.7.
yeah. I think it was like 24 going into the game. Yeah, it'll definitely be harder, or maybe it'll be easier because teams will be like, well, just make Eric Dixon beat us, and they'll just shut everybody else down. Like has been the game plan for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But you know, he had a great game. He was a lot of fun to watch, and that was kind of the sentiment that it was like, well, if we're gonna lose, at least we get to watch Eric Dixon put on a show. Like,
I think the thing that, and this is unfair to Eric because it's just he's doing everything. But it's like, how can Eric help us win? Like, how could we? What else can he do? Because it's very clear that if we're
somebody else just had to make a shot.
Perkins
had a chance.
Yeah,
Perkins had a chance.
Yeah.
Eric got triple teamed in the
And
final.
and that's what I want to get to is, and he hasn't been bad at this, but when he gets double teamed and triple teamed, just being a little quicker with the ball out of his hands to get to somebody else. That's where I'm like,
been a Villanova big problem for years. Not just him.
Yeah, no, not at all. And that's
guys,
an issue for basketball bigs in general. Like, but it's just that's like if I'm being a nitpicky person, that's the thing. But like, there's nothing to nitpick.
The other thing
about.
is like nobody like the ball swung around a little bit before we got a shot off, and like I was so sure that we weren't gonna get a shot off. Just because of like this, the ghosts of Christmas past there, I was like, what are the odds we don't even get a shot off here? Like,
you're talking about the Perkins one or the Eric?
No, I knew I knew that was going to be the shot at the last one, but the play before it went out of bounds and we had a couple chances, but it was like, all right, he passes out, but like, okay, Brickus can't take it. I think it went to Brickus and then Perkins or whatever it was, but it's like, somebody take the shot, please. Like, give us a chance to get a putback. It just, we need people to be able to be willing shooters when Eric does get doubled and passes out. So many times it was like he's double teamed, he swings it out, and then he gets the ball right back. Like,
just a very quick aside, I just got incredibly distracted. I'm on ESPN, I have Eric's page up. I look in the top left corner. Arkansas is playing University of Maryland Eastern Shore. It's 11 minutes left in the second half. Guess what the score is?
Is Eastern Shore winning?
No, Eastern Shore's not winning. So it's a blowout.
Is it 50-7?
84-20.
How much time's left?
11:37 in the second.
Oh, in the second. Okay, I thought this was first half. What did they score in the first half?
Tell
me it's 50-7.
60-15.
All right. Yeah. Wow. It could be worse, I guess.
Yeah. Anyways, that was shocking score to see.
Look, overall, I don't know if we have to keep beating this over the head. It was a fun game. Stunk that we lost.
What are we going to do at this stage?
Look, if this is how it's going to go, like, I at least want the games to be fun, one way or another, or provide content. So it's like lose by 70 or and we can make jokes about it, or entertaining games that we have a chance to win at the end. And we had a chance. We got 2 shots. There were some bad calls under 2 minutes that definitely swung things. You can't really land on that. Like, there's a lot that happens in the first 36 minutes or 38 minutes that the last 2.
I want to defend Brickus real quick. Jay Williams on the call kept going at Brickus for getting under people when they were jumping. He's just short. He's just short.
Yeah, like, that was not. Yeah, and he was like aggressive about it. It's like, no, dude, like, I'm not. You jumped. I'm standing right here. I'm not lowering my
boxing
shoulder
out.
or anything.
I can't do anything. Yeah. I was just like, he's just small. Like, he's not doing anything wrong.
Ridiculous. The couple of the fouls that were called on him, like that flop. Like, he's standing there at midcourt and just like one little bump, and then the guy goes flying. Like, he's not capable of throwing anybody that far.
I know I just defended Brickus, but I have to. This isn't his fault. Well, it might be his fault. I don't know what the play call is. If we post up Brickus one more fucking time this season, I'm gonna fucking punt a basketball.
That's my pass the ball award. I wasn't even gonna do awards because, like, I'm upset. But yeah, the pass the ball award goes to the play call for having Brickus post up.
Yeah, it's just I don't get it at all.
He's not.
He's small. If he's posting me like the play that we posted him up, he didn't back down the person, turn, and then it was the goaltend that got reversed. And I was like, well, yeah, because he's short. The guy had him in general, and then it's like, yeah, he's not. It's just.
And then there were 2 of them there.
Yeah.
Like, he shot it over his guy and tried to get it past the help, and got swallowed up. Shocker. So, yeah, I don't know if I have much else to contribute to a Maryland conversation.
No, but we did hire somebody.
Yes.
We'll probably talk about that.
New hire alert. We have an athletic director.
Yeah. How do you say his last name?
I don't know. I
haven't heard
I don't
loud.
have the article up, but former, he's a Villanova student athlete, class of 98 or 99. spent some time at Temple and Oregon more recently as COO and working with the basketball and football program. So obviously big money football programs and an endless supply of NIL money that he was dealing with and managing through his through their department. So great experience there. He's in the family, but not like a recent, like, you know, we talked that there were chances of former athletic department members that had gone on to other schools coming back, but this is I think this is a good step for Villanova, hiring someone that we can still say is like in the family, but it's not, you know, somebody that was here forever, stepped away for 2 years and is coming back. Like, this is somebody that'll have fresh perspective on a lot of things and hopefully brings that diversity and experience to get things moving in the right direction for all sports, obviously, that need it. But interested to see what happens with men's basketball. Obviously, that's what we're here for. Moving forward.
Obviously, I'm not going to pretend that like I know about athletic directors and like the level of success that they're going to be in terms of, but seems like a good hire on paper. Love the fact that he's a Villanovan. For Villanova, I could give less of a crap, but like we know how Villanova operates, and like you put, this is as close as to an outsider's insider or insider outsider that we're going to get. Where he went to Villanova, he understands it, but after he left, really hasn't done anything with Villanova. So it's essentially fresh blood. So
yeah, I mean, and also like we say that as if our last athletic director that we hired wasn't completely outside of Villanova and had no connections at all. Like
that's fair
on that, but like no, like I just it's like we said, we expected somebody to have some sort of connection, and I'm glad that this was it.
Yeah,
like student athlete got out. You know, obviously cares about Villanova. This is home, blah, blah, blah. But familiar.
He hired Dan Lanning. So like was part of the team that hired Dan Lanning. So I don't know. I think this will hopefully be a good thing. We obviously know that Eric has a couple things to figure out pretty soon. So we'll see how this goes. But I think I said he starts in January.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not much else left to add on that front. No. We'll see what happens, obviously, but it's good that search is over, and we can start potentially thinking about a different one.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. But, do we want to get into an ad read?
Yeah, let's cut to the ad, and then we will talk Ryder and Cincy.
And hopefully, while I do this, I can fix my mic. Jesus Christ.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
it's a Homefield ad read that I wrote completely, and this is completely scripted by me, not anything else used by the internet to write a Homefield ad read because I just didn't want to make it up off the top of my head. Here we go. Hey, Villanova fans. Tired of wearing the same old merch that feels like Jay Wright's suit, stiff and overpriced? Enter Homefield Apparel. Vintage designs, softer than a Big East defense on Chris Jenkins 3. And guess what? We've got a deal to make your wallet feel like it just won the big dance. Use promo code Nova Insider at checkout for 15% off your first order. That's Nova Insider because looking good while repping the cat should be easier than beating Georgetown. Homefield Apparel, where comfort meets championship vibes.
My one complaint about your ad is that I guess it should be looking good should be easier than beating Villanova at this point.
You know, so the system I used, I think, is still working on 2021 data.
The ghostwriter is catching up.
Yeah.
We have some editing to do on that.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, we have some editing to do on that. But you know, that's showbiz, I guess. So we have a game on Wednesday against Ryder. Exactly. Villanova is looking for people to fill the student section based off the emails I've been getting, because obviously students are home for Thanksgiving break. So if you're a local, you could get some good seats potentially.
Get really good seats. I'm going to be real honest. I'm prepared to talk about Cincinnati. Ryder is one of those ones where I was just like, hey man,
barely know her.
Yeah. But
anyway, this is a have to win. Like the rest of our season is a have to win. Like, there's not much else to say about that.
Yeah.
Because we will probably be taking a holiday on Monday. Let's just get into Cincinnati because that is the game that we have after Ryder. Top 25 team, Cincinnati. Are they still top 25?
They're still
new poll came out today.
They should still be top 25.
Yeah.
They're 5-0, so I'm not imagining they drop off. Cincinnati. This is like legitimately a top 15 team in the country. According to KenPom, they're number 7. According to T Rank, they're number 12. I don't know what they are in the AP poll, but offensively, Kentucky, Cincinnati's been super efficient. They're shooting like 45% from the 3-point arc. They're really good. I spent some time watching a little bit of Cincinnati because I was like, I actually am just curious about this team. So I looked up some of the Georgia Tech game. No game that they've had has been particularly close. They already gone on the road. They were at Northern Kentucky, which isn't really that far from them. That is literally across the river. And then Georgia Tech. So they've been on the road already, so they're not worried about that. Not that the Finn is the biggest and scariest environment in the world, but it's a place that we tend to play better at, just because it's home. Defense, though, the defense of Cincinnati is what's going to carry them. I feel like this is a throwback to your traditional Cincinnati teams that you remember from the early, starting from the 90s, but to the early 2000s, Yancey Gates punching people. That's this kind of Cincinnati team. They're really tough defensively. I think they are. What does KenPom have them defensively? They're 7th in the country on defense according to KenPom, 14th on offense. Early season returns. This is a legitimate.
We're in trouble.
Some of the key players that they have, I don't know if he's going to be back, but they have a big wing, Dan Skillings Jr. He has got he played in the first game, had a minor surgery. It's supposed to be out for a couple of weeks. In theory, might be able to be back for our game. But I'm going to say he doesn't play, but he's incredibly important for them. They've played most of the season without him, so it's not like it's going to be a big deal, but he's 6'6", can put the ball on the floor, can shoot, can score, can do it all. They have, if you remember earlier, Simas Lukosius, who was at Butler and killed us in a Butler game 2 years ago. He's still there. He's shooting. Let me make sure I have the numbers right now. He's shooting 65% from 3-point range right now on 28 threes. So he's burning the nets down.
Not quite Dixon numbers.
Not quite Dixon.
Not quite has
Loquacious
numbers.
Yeah.
Loquacious, whatever.
They have a all-name member. Jizzle James is their point guard.
Right. This came up in our preseason.
Yeah, it came in the preseason. He's been doing well.
Living up to the name.
Living up to the name. Averaging near had a double-double with points and assists. Almost had a triple-double. Has just been very, very solid for them. Averaging 6 assists a game. That's what it was. So he's been fantastic for them as well. He's about 6'3". He has size. They're not a small team. They're a physical team. Dylan Mitchell is on the team. He was a transfer from Texas. Can't shoot.
We should try to post Brickus up.
Yes, right? That's exactly
what I'm hearing.
Yep. Mitchell can't shoot worth a lick, but is just a dunking machine. Has 19 dunks on the season already. That's just what he does. He's extremely athletic. They beat Georgia Tech. They haven't really been tested yet, but it's Wes Miller had coaching up, so they're smart defensively. They're versatile on they've been shooting well. It's a very, very good team, and we're going to be challenged. This will be. I would go as far as to say this will probably be our toughest non-UConn game, maybe a non-Marquette on the road game of all season, in terms of the talent of the team.
Yeah, I mean, just from that description, it's okay, Nana and Joku, get ready to learn, hard foul, not dirty foul, which I know you were hoping to see a little bit more of intimidation from Bocce.
Yes, you knew where I was going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it just felt like he was getting bullied a little bit. And
Yeah, and it's like, sit this kid down.
yeah, we didn't like it's there's a weird I think there's a weird balance he's trying to strike between like I don't want to get in foul trouble, but we also like need an enforcer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, give me
And
one hard foul a game. Just like
yeah,
let
Eric
him know.
can't do it. Eric can't get into
Yeah.
foul trouble. So and obviously we're not saying like go take some guy out like Maryland tried to do on Jordan's fast break. But it's like if you have these guys, okay, he's not a shooter, he's just going to try to dunk it down your throat every time. Wall up, like show something. Like it's based on your preview here. Like obviously the coaching staff will develop a game plan, but like aside from our guys having to show up offensively, like it's like we need a little bit of the defense that we were putting on the floor last year.
We need a strong.
Obviously, it's a completely different team, and you can't just be like, why can't they play like last year? There's 2 guys on the team from last year. Like, so I think this has potential to be a very long game.
This is a game that I think if we're going to win, it needs to be, and Jay was really good at this.
Rock fight.
This is going to have to be a rock fight, and we're going to have to be able to like hit timely shots, which is just self-explanatory. But if we're going to win this game, we're not going to be able to keep up with them offensively. I think the defense has the ability to not keep up with them, but we have a better chance defensively of slowing them down on offense than we do of scoring their defense, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're actually good at starting rock fights, but like the problem is like we out rock fight ourselves, and that's been the case, going back however many, in the last 3 years, where it's like, okay, we're gonna make this game ugly, and then it's horrifyingly ugly, but we also forget the part where we have to score in order to make that game plan work. I'm thinking UConn at Wells Fargo last year. When we couldn't score for the first 7 minutes or whatever it was. Like, there are things that, to an extent, yes, make it ugly, but like they have to take their opportunities to run and get early offense and easy offense, because I think that's one of those things where we try to control the tempo on offense a little too much, and then you're missing the opportunity for quick, easy buckets. And I thought they did a good job of that in the first half against Maryland. And like when we were causing turnovers and getting out and running and just scoring immediately, instead of the Villanova tempo thing of like, okay, I got past half court, I'm just going to wait for all my friends and the other team and all their friends to catch up so that we can, do this civilized. It's like, no, if you get the opportunity, just go dunk it down their throat, get back. I'm not saying that we have the ability to do that, but like when you have your chances, you got to take them.
We've said this all season, and we're going to continue to say this all season. We're just not making the game easy for us. Like, once again, we're not making the game easy for us. We've created an offense where outside of Eric and should be Wooga, it's just tough for anybody to get involved in a way that makes sense. And like, and Jordan's involved, but like, that one's on him.
He dribbles the ball a lot. Yeah, he's involved.
But we're just looking for, like, we're just not making the game easy. I think that's just what it is. And take those opportunities, run. Brickus is really, really good in the open court. Like, he's incredibly fast. He's low to the ground. He's small. You know what's great for small people? When you let them run, and like, because you can't keep up with them. When you're able to like have people create a wall in front of him and be able to like use their length, actually, it's tougher on him. Let him move with pace. So I don't know. I'm hopeful, but don't know that it's going to be a great outcome for us, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, like, it would be great if we win. I would be completely bought back in, and I know I said I wouldn't like get tricked like that again, but like I would be so back.
What does that mean? Bought back into what?
Just that, we're back. Yeah, this is, we're a decent team now. Like, it doesn't take much. Like, they almost got me this last weekend, because I do think Maryland's a good team, and that was impressive for that display. But then, like, you look at the stats afterwards, it's like, oh my God, somebody other than Eric Dixon has to step up. We've been saying this for 3 years.
during the first half, we were up like 15, and I'm like, well,
not
hold
enough.
on. But I was also like, well, hold on. If we do this, this could be a little springboard here.
I know.
And then like immediately I was like, shut the hell up.
We're not going to do this.
Shut up.
Man, there's 27 minutes left. This is going to happen. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But I'm excited for Cincinnati. I mean, this is our first time playing Cincinnati since I want to say
Old Big East.
Old Big East 2012 at Cincinnati. Malik Waynes had like a fast break dunk. We lost also. But there was like a fast break dunk.
You say also this game hasn't ended. This game hasn't happened yet.
Sorry.
We lost that one time.
We lost that one as well. I think that's still the same thing I'm saying.
Yeah. Anyway. I don't have too much else. If you have any closing thoughts on that, now's the time.
No, I'm excited to see us play like a really, really cool.
It'll be cool. I'm excited. Like again,
because I do feel like they'll lift we're going to lift up to beat.
We don't tend to like. It's this weird thing where we play down to inferior opponents, but then somehow after playing down like 4 games in a row, you see this team scrap it out. And, for all that happened in that UConn game last year, like on paper, yes, it was a 1-point game. It was really a 4-point loss. Mark hit the 3 at the buzzer, but like you play up to those we should have beat Marquette. A couple of times that we've been in position to be in position. So like, let's see if we can do that. Be in position to have a chance at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Cincinnati's 16 in the AP.
Okay, yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see.
All right. Do we want to?
But to move on into something to kind of change the vibe and the spirits right now, we're gonna do I'm gonna say it's our first ever, because I just can't remember, and I didn't ask Chris to check if we've done something like this in the past. But we're gonna have we're gonna bring producer Brian on and do a draft of the all-time, where each of us are gonna select 6 players to fill out our all-time Jay Wright era basketball roster.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I mean, I think this is going to be cool. So yeah, we're going to all build a roster. There's no just 6 players, 5 starting 5 and a 6-man. It doesn't necessarily need to be anything like we can make the roster however we want to. If we wanted to go all bigs, you could go all bigs. I don't know if that's going to work, but there's not like positional things at all. The
only rule is that they had to play for Jay Wright at Villanova at some point in their career.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to sneak in Speedy Claxton. So I'm glad we called that out.
No, sorry. We pre-selected the randomized draft order. Willy will be picking first. I will be picking second. Brian will be picking third and fourth, because we're going to do a snake draft. Brian's going to keep track of who picks who. And I don't know, we'll probably put our teams out and let people vote if they want to see which 6 they're taking.
Yeah.
Willy, first pick.
So everyone knows my favorite Villanova basketball player. With the first pick of the Jay Wright era, no, I'm not picking Dante. Not with the first pick. We're gonna see if we can get him later. It's gonna have to be Jalen Brunson. It's just I can't build this team without taking Jalen Brunson. I'm glad you've heard of it. There's nothing else. It's Jalen Brunson. I don't need to say anything else about it.
He has a shrine at Villanova.
Yeah. He'll be the first pick of the Jay Wright era for me. And we'll build around Jalen, which isn't going to be that hard.
All right. There are obviously a lot of great options. I am going to go with Josh Hart, number 2 pick. Don't feel like I have to explain that one. Yeah, there are so many guards that I'm confident I'll be able to get one next round, unless Brian takes all of the ones that I want with his next 2 picks. But yeah,
I'm only going to take 2 guys with the 2 picks, so you should.
Right.
All right. So with the 3rd pick, I'm going to take Curtis Sumter.
Ooh, okay.
And then with the 4th pick, I'm going to take Colin Gillespie.
Damn it. That was my point guard.
I did it reverse too.
Yeah. No, I was like, wow, Curtis Sumter going 3 overall. That's big. And yeah, damn. All right. That means I'll have to go with, I guess I'm gonna go with I'll go with Scotty Reynolds. He hit the shot before the shot. And we're judging this by complete college careers. So I'll go with Scotty Reynolds.
And I was going to say either, or you take the best of their career.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, I have 2 All-Americans right now, so I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, well, I'm in a blessed position to be able to double up here. At this program, we're looking for dribble, pass, shoot guys, like Kyle said on his interview, and I agree. We're looking for dribble, pass, shoot guys. But I also want some guards. Still can't have too many. I'm going to take Randy Foye at the 6th spot, and then follow that up with Mikal Bridges. So now I have a person who can play on the ball with Jalen, or in the play off the ball. We've scaled it out. We have Mikal, who in college was one of the most disruptive defenders I've ever seen. So I feel pretty good.
Brian.
It's back. Oh, okay.
Isn't it?
Trevor? Yeah.
No, am I in the middle forever?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's how snake draft works.
I wasn't paying attention.
You set up the draft and picked the order.
I didn't pick it. It was randomly generated. All right. I will go with I'm going to take Omari.
Ooh,
I need a center. I want somebody that can shoot. I know it was just 1 year of Omari, but 40%, close to 40% 3-point shooter.
40, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take Kyle Lowry. And then am I going back to back?
Yeah, you're going back to back.
Kyle Lowry and Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
I was thinking I might be able to get him on my turn.
I thought we'd all kind of sleep on him.
Yeah.
At the end. Yeah.
People, I think it was like a COVID thing, but people forget how dominant he was in that. Again, he's in the kind of tweener position of not quite the traditional 5, but he was bored of college by the time it was over for him. He was one of those guys that Jay was we had to tell him he can't come back.
Think about how good he got from his freshman year to his sophomore year, and he was already a freshman All-American.
Yeah.
The game felt easy for him. It was just kind of all right, Kyle, I got this. And yeah, it was great.
For my pick, I will go with Phil Booth.
I was wondering if Phil was.
I had a feeling Brian wanted to take him, so yeah.
All right. At 4, I'm going to take my actual favorite Villanova basketball player. I'm taking Dante. He's going to be the 6th man. I just didn't want to wait till 6th. That's the chaos that I need on this team. He will come off the bench. I'm going to build out the rest of the team around it. The other one I'm going to take is the other Dante. I'm taking Dante Cunningham at 5.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to go a traditional 5, but it's going to be Dante Cunningham, and we're going to let this rock from there.
I am going to go with – I'm a little torn here because I want another wing, but I think I'm going to take Sadiq Bey. I had some other ideas.
So honest, I forgot about Sadiq Bey.
Sadiq Bey quietly was
I didn't want to get embarrassed for getting someone that good.
Quietly one of the best Julius Erving Award winner, insane 3-point shot. His was it his junior year? Did he leave after 3 or 2?
3 years. After 2.
2 years.
2? Yeah. Ridiculous. He was another guy that they had to kick out. Quote unquote kick out. It's you're too good, and then COVID, and it was
That team is always going to sit with me. That Justin, Sadiq,
everybody's team from that year is going to sit with them. Seton Hall thinks they were robbed. Dayton thinks they were robbed. Everybody was we would have won it that year, and that team had its issues, but we will forget about those Providence games.
All right, so my final 2 picks. I'm going to go Chris Jenkins.
Okay.
Because I got a pretty tall roster, but he's obviously a knockdown shooter. And then my 6th man's going to be Jermaine Samuels.
Okay.
That was I wanted Jermaine really bad because
because you took Phil from me. Yeah.
The lineup versatility of Jermaine, the small ball 5. Yeah. I'm trying to think how I want to go here. If I want another center or if I want another guard, but I guess I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take I'll take Pinkston.
That may have been my pick. I was debating between.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier, like he was a bully, and I want somebody. I know he and Omari are a little undersized, but just like bad men. So that's what I went instead of like, you could have gone for bigger guys, but yeah, I wanted some attitude there.
Okay, well, Pinkston was going to be my last pick. Also, this is wild, like the level of players we're going to leave on the
Yeah.
I mean, there's only 3 of us. So we're only taking 18 guys. Like, this.
But like, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to take Arch, and like Arch.
I know.
Yeah, and it makes sense between Kyle, Colin, like all the people we've taken, but like I'm just not going to take Arch. I'm in between a couple of things. There's a part of me that just says, forget any size. I just want to go shooting. Then there's a part of me that's like, let's get some like more defensive versatility in there. I think I'm gonna try and I'm gonna piss Brian off with this, but I'm gonna do it.
Yes,
I'm gonna do it.
Brian had his chance.
I'm gonna take Eric Dixon. No, I'm gonna take Eric Dixon.
Yeah, that works.
And just like I have a genuine take on Eric Dixon, and this is in terms of the most efficient bag of a Villanova player, he's up there. And what he can do with the ball in his hands, the talent he has, he is up in that echelon. Obviously, the team success is separate, but on an individual level, what we just saw, I'm like that. I need that on my team.
So here's my only. I'm going to play police here.
Is he the Jay Wright era?
No, I know he played for Jay Wright, but I'm saying like,
no,
are we only counting the years that he played for Jay Wright?
I think through the career.
I know. Like I wanted to scare Willy for a second because obviously he wasn't the guy until 3 years ago.
I would be if we're gonna play that way.
Yeah,
I'm completely fine with that. Like that's a fair point.
Yeah. No, obviously we're gonna take the whole career into account, but I just wanted to throw that out there that he was unfortunate. He was behind JRE.
He's played for Kyle. Honestly, like if we want to, he's played for Kyle more than he's played for Jay.
Yeah. But no, he is. Don't get like I'm just messing with you. He's 100% a Jay Wright era guy. I was going to count Cam Whitmore because I knew it was going to make Brian upset just because he got recruited by Jay. But do we want to have a bonus round of everybody pick a walk on to be your player coach 7th man?
I love that. I guess I get to go then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm taking Henry Lowe. That's just
that would piss Brian off. Yeah. I did not think you were going to go with Henry, but I will go with program legend Dallas Awano. He went to my high school. His brother was my grade, and we hung out at the Big East tournament the one year that, or 2016. We were watching the first half of the Seton Hall game together, and he was like, "I wouldn't worry. I think we'll be okay." And then we almost won that game. So yeah, welcome to the team, Dallas.
I'm going to also take Henry Lowe. So
yeah, I love that. All right. So what are the rosters we got?
All right. So I'll run through Willy's first. So you got Jalen, Randy. I'll do full names: Jalen Brunson, Randy Foy, Mikal Bridges, Dante DiVincenzo, Dante Cunningham, and Eric Dixon. Trevor has Josh Hart, Scotty Reynolds, Omari Spellman, Phil Booth, Sadiq Bey, and Javon Pinkston. And I have Curtis Sumter, Colin Gillespie, Kyle Lowry, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Chris Jenkins, and Jermaine Sanders.
Like, if you could build a whole separate team between like Arch, A-Ray, Lane. Like
I know we had some very notable leave-offs. Like, you know, A-Ray obviously.
A-Ray was I was between Eric and A-Ray.
Fisher, Yaru, Oshefu, Pascal. I had a bunch of guys that it was just like we don't.
Mislav Brzoya. Mislav could have been taken.
Gary Buchanan.
I had Gary on my list.
He was on my list too, but like we only went 6 deep, and I was like, all right, whatever.
What's interesting is I think Daniel is the premier center in the program's history.
Yeah.
History or Jay Wright's history?
The only argument pre-Jay Wright would be Eddie Pinckney, and I'm probably I'd go to Eric, but I think it's a fair argument, and it's just interesting none of us took him. Like, because to be honest with you, if I'm really building a team, I'm going to take him over any other center we have. Like, if we're going to play a game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, it was hard to leave him off, but again, we went 6 deep. Like, we probably could have gone 8 deep, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll. Did you said your team, right?
Yeah.
Brian? Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. Yeah. We will. We'll get a graphic together and see if people care enough to vote on this, who they would take. But yeah, that was fun.
I'm sure we'll clip this. Let us know who you would take, all that fun stuff. Like,
definitely left some players off that deserve to be in the conversation, or if there was a 4th person drafting, definitely would have been taken.
Maybe one day we'll get a 4th in here for this.
Yeah, we basically just did our top 20, top 18. But I don't know, but I was trying to like build a team that would be functional.
Yeah,
I think we all kind of went that direction.
Because I like, as much as I wouldn't have taken Eric if I was going top 20. I would have left him off and gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably Dante DiVincenzo as well. Like,
yeah, I mean, look, he had 3 good games. Yeah, so we'll see about that, and then Brian, you're here. We'll transition to our Wildcat of the week and then close things out. So this player is from the pre-Jay Wright era.
Okay.
He was. When I was looking at all-time numbers and stuff the other day, he came up a lot. This will kind of, All-American selection.
Doug West.
No.
I don't think he ever got All-American.
I don't know if he did or not, but it's not important because it's not him.
Howard Porter.
God damn it.
Okay.
It's funny. We haven't had that many All-Americans.
Yeah, you narrowed it down.
I know, and I thought that I couldn't remember if he was I'm looking at his Wikipedia. Obviously, I know he was a forward, but I thought you were going to say, when you were like all time, Daniel, I thought Howard Porter was going to be one of the names that you mentioned as like all time. But yeah, he had a 30 rebound game. I knew that Arizin had like an 85-point game, but I was trying to see how much Dixon needed to go to be number 2 all time in a single game score. And then I was just kind of looking at the other stats, and Howard Porter had some ridiculous stats that are all obviously null and void. Because
the man was a Pittsburgh Condor, baby.
He didn't even suit up for the Pittsburgh Condors. But yeah, he is the reason his MOP from the 1971 Final Four is vacated. Famously,
as a kid, I never knew we played in that because there was no banners. So like when people talk about stuff getting taken away, it does matter a little bit just because you lose that in history. So a friend of mine's dad was a teammate with him. So I asked him about him recently. He just said how good he was. And I was like, oh, was the signing thing real? He said, yeah, no, he did it. But he was like, so did other players that were there that weekend. But he goes, he got, say it was $10,000. Whatever it was a lot of cash. And he said, he kept it in our hotel room. And he said, don't you touch my money. And he put it in the sock drawer. So he's like, I saw the money that he had.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous stats. Like that game famously, like, I don't know if, Willy, you ever had the sports and spirituality class with Ed Hastings?
My favorite class I've ever had. Yeah,
I didn't get into that class, but I took a different class that had sports in the name, and he came and spoke to us once. Who? And I took the physics of sports.
Who spoke to you?
Ed Hastings.
I thought you were saying Porter did.
No, Porter.
I was like, hey, Trevor.
We'll get to it, but yeah, Porter is deceased. But no, Ed Hastings came and talked to us, and he was like, the crazy thing about that was Wooden's, UCLA teams, and he said that their biggest thing was like by the time they realized they could win the game, it was like too late. And it was a close game, obviously, but and that was his biggest thing. And then he talked about how one of his biggest like regrets in life was after that. He was like kind of rooting against Villanova in future Final Fours because he was like, I wanted our team to be, the greatest Villanova team of all time. And, he's since resolved that issue. But like
Hastings is awesome.
No, great guy.
I actually saw him last month. He officiated my buddy's wedding. So I was like,
very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to Howard Porter, just ridiculous numbers that he put up at Villanova. A 3-time All-American. I only said single All-American because I knew if I said 3-time, it would have given it away. I was going to say multiple so that you might like confuse Josh Hart or Scotty, but
well, you also said he wasn't.
He was pre-Jay Wright.
I know. I should have
All-Americans we had were him and Kerry Kittles.
I'll look into that.
Like 5 or 6 All-Americans a year now.
Oh, really?
There's like 8 or 9 different things that.
If
you look at McHale was a second-team All-American from one source. Wasn't on the AP. Was on this one, but like back then there was the AP.
Yeah.
So it's just a rare.
Yeah, Doug West wasn't, but I thought maybe he snuck into like a third team, so I was like, let me try. And like,
yeah, he was like a great player at 89, right? Like.
Yeah. So. Anyway, he never actually played for the Pittsburgh Condors. Got drafted by the Bulls. Not a terribly long NBA career. I think he retired by age 29. He did play with Chris Ford in Detroit, where he saw his best season. My favorite part of this Wikipedia is that his nickname is Geezer, which was a nickname during his time at Villanova. Which, like, what do you have to be like to have a nickname as Geezer at age 19, 20?
Did it mean the same thing then?
Probably not. I don't know. It was probably an old timey. It's an old timey thing.
Geezer, like, I mean, I highly doubt it, but it's like British slang for like dude. So
yeah, I don't know.
I love saying geezer too. That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this other stuff happened. I knew he was deceased, but I did not know how.
No, if you look at the Wikipedia, it is shocking. Like, I had no idea. I had decided on Howard Porter on Sunday when we were watching the game, but yeah, retired due to like some medical issues in 1978, some blood clots in his lungs, and then there was some drug stuff that happened, which was happening all throughout. Like, it was a significant problem in the NBA at the time.
The NBA in the early
NBA was the wild. There were no rules about anything. Like, they didn't think the league was going to survive because of how many players were, into coke like that.
Which like in The Last Dance, they kind of point out like Michael Jordan was kind of like he came to Chicago and was like, "What the fuck is this? We're here to play basketball.
What are you guys doing? I'm here to win basketball games." And they're like, "Do you want to go smoke with us before the game?"
Which, like, at that stage, it was like a 20-year-old league, so like it's still new, like a little longer than 20, but like
Yeah, but that's what if you watch the Showtime Lakers series, co-starring Daryl Reynolds, he plays a few different Lakers, I think, throughout that.
I think he played Robert Parrish on the
It was Robert Parrish he played.
He plays late. I thought he played both Lakers and Celtics in that.
I know for sure he was Robert Parrish.
Yeah, definitely Robert Parrish at some point, but
like,
I don't want to say he wasn't. So.
My favorite thing about the show. But yeah, part of what they talk about is like how nobody thought the league was going to survive that long because of it just wasn't like a big moneymaker at the time, and all the players were into
existed.
All the players were into all this off-court stuff, and just insane. But
I wish I was me, because I'd be like, all right, you're buying a team. Like, you're just going to.
You have $37. Go buy the Knicks.
Something interesting Daryl told me from being on that show was not all of the actors also did the basketball stunts. So whoever played Julius Erving was a like a kind of a known actor, and he was short.
Mhm.
And there was like a scene where he got dunked on, but it was by the stunt double. He's like, because the dude couldn't dunk on me. The guy who actually plays him. He's like, they had to bring in another guy. And I was like, that would annoy me too, actually. Like, I'm getting dunked on TV, and it's not even a guy.
I would hate that. Yeah. But of course, they'd have to bring in somebody for me to be able to dunk on anybody on anything, or just lower the hoop, I guess.
They could come to me in April of my senior year of high school, which is the only time I dunked, and then after that,
I never got close. Surprising nobody.
I could do it with no ball. I could get the rim.
You could grab the rim.
Yeah.
Well, you were a college athlete.
That's true.
And so was I, just, different sport.
Different sport. Equally as challenging. Yeah.
Most college athletes go pro in something else.
Enterprise rental car.
Yeah. Howard Porter tragically was murdered in 2007, which was not what I was expecting to see when I pulled up his Wikipedia. There was some like robbery gone wrong that he, just horrible, that I had no idea. Like a plan, like these people planned to rob him or something, and horrible. This was supposed to be a brighten people's day, and now we're talking about how like one of our all-time program greats got murdered. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I read. I was like, "Yeah, how did he die?" I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Okay.
Yeah. Wake you up in the morning to read that one. But anyway, anything else we want to talk about before we maybe some scheduling?
We're gonna skip next week.
Yeah, we're gonna take next week off. We're not away for a turkey tournament this season, so we are just gonna take the day as we traditionally take that week, I think, anyway, here at the Full 40, and we'll be back.
Only thing I wanted to shout out, and they're not even, I just want to shout out Jasmine Basco on the women's team, who's been playing pretty well. She's been like for a team that's been decimated, losing Lucy, which every time I see her do anything, a tear rolls down my eye. Same with Christina Dulce. Like, she's been fun. The women's team is like 4-3. They just lost today to Baylor.
They just played 2 tough games, and they won a game in the Bahamas, and I was all set to tweet about how like Villanova owns the Bahamas, and then I realized that they were losing to UNC at the time. And so they dropped one to 2 top 25 teams. Is Baylor ranked top 25? I think they were. But UNC kind of took care of business got their revenge for the men's team last year. But the women's team's been fun. We got some great shooting performances, and who did they? I'm blanking who they played first round in the Bahamas.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Yeah, that was a fun game to follow on the side.
Yeah, but I think that's really all I had. I wanted to give them a shout out. Hopefully they're able to get a string of wins going. But I think so. We're not going to go next week. We'll take a week off. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Spend time with your loved ones. Don't watch Villanova basketball. I guess we're not even going to be playing, so it doesn't really matter.
Actually, in my house, we will be watching Villanova basketball. My dad plays the tapes from the 16 and 18 run anytime I'm home, so we will be watching Villanova basketball.
I kind of love that.
He bought DVDs from a guy off like the VU Hoops website.
Buddy, I got them right back here.
So every time I come home, it's like I have to, 1, find something that can play DVDs in my house, and 2, it will just be sitting there, and my dad will be like, "Do you want to watch West Virginia?" Yeah, why not?
I got my Xbox, and every once in a while, a Sunday in the summer, I'm like, I could watch Miami right now and just throw it in. Yeah. All right.
On the same page about that.
Cool. So we will be back in 2 weeks. And I don't think we got much more. So thank you all for Willy, Trevor, and Brian. We'll talk to y'all later. And as always, let's go Nova.